Shocked by what he hears, our boy wonders to himself what Nox is talking about. It's not Kang's fault that Chloe hurt her leg. Then, Nox questions how Kang became so strong. Kang is taken aback by the idea that Nox considers him strong. To be regarded as strong, one must be able to withstand threats at all times, like the Sword Emperor. Someone like Kang, who can only maintain that level of strength for less than a minute a day, is far from a level where he can boast about his power. Kang himself can't even think of such a claim. Nox, using Chloe as an excuse, reveals secrets of the Auditor family to our boy, an outsider. There's no way Nox would let that slide. Our boy then tells Nox that he lacks desperation. Surprised, Nox asks what Kang means by that. Kang explains that, regardless of how much of an auditor Nox is, there's a certain edge that comes from real-world experience. If Nox stays cooped up in the academy, he will eventually hit his growth limit. To truly grow, Nox needs to venture out, gain real-life experience, and work hard. Only then will he achieve something remarkable. Nox is surprised by this advice. Observing Nox's reaction, our boy thinks that Kang isn't entirely wrong. With that, he decides to leave the conversation and move on. The scene shifts to the classroom, where the teacher is conducting a lecture. Our boy, sitting by himself, reflects on the academy elders targeting Kang. These elders are descendants of 5 of Baylor Hoken's 7 disciples, a group renowned for their immense influence, not just within the academy but across the entire world. Kang recalls the elders' role in the game, where they were notorious for constantly obstructing the protagonist to safeguard their own power and status. This earned them the nickname Corrupt Remnants among players. However, Kang can't understand why the elders are now targeting our boy. To make sense of the situation, Kang begins writing down the key events our boy has been involved in so far. The top academy admission exam, where Kang faced and defeated the twins. The subspace training session, where our boy confronted and defeated Nox. The midterm exams, where our boy saved Leon. As Kang reviews what he has written, our boy realizes that he has caused quite a stir. It seems Kang has been inadvertently drawing attention to himself. Yet, despite all that our boy has done, it still doesn't explain why the elders would target Kang specifically. At this point, Kang's thoughts shift to Scupley Island, trying to piece together the puzzle. In the aftermath of saving Leon and defeating the mermaid, our boy begins to realize something troubling. Kang deduces that the elders are not targeting him specifically. They are after Leon. Kang was merely an obstacle in their way. Despite the media's efforts to cover up the incident, the fact that our boy defeated the mermaid must have reached the ears of the highest ranks in noble society. The fact that the elders are targeting Leon, a hero candidate, suggests something even more sinister. It becomes clear to Kang that someone among the elders, or perhaps all of them, may be colluding with the demons. The elders didn't just attempt to obstruct Leon. They went as far as to try to kill him, a young student. No matter how corrupt the elders are, this level of betrayal is shocking. Prioritizing their own power over the safety of humanity, and the academy crosses every line. Kang didn't think they could stoop this low. Our boy entertains the thought of storming into the elders' chambers and taking them down immediately. However, he knows it isn't the right time yet. When the time comes, our boy resolves to ensure that the elders are held accountable. Meanwhile, the teacher instructs the students to take notes, snapping Kang out of his thoughts. Kang realizes that he hasn't been focused. He reminds himself of what he needs next, a weapon enhancement. Determined, our boy decides that he'll have to venture into the dungeon to make it happen. First, our boy knows he needs to form a party. Clearing a dungeon alone is too difficult. Kang is certain that Chloe would be willing to help. However, instead of someone as powerful as Rachel, our boy prefers someone more strategic. This thought leads Kang to remember Batten, and he decides to find Batten and ask for his help. The scene shifts to the dragon class, where our boy is interrupted by a student who tells him that this isn't a place where someone like Kang can come and go as they please. Hearing this, Kang thinks to himself, who is this third-rate extra character? With 20 years of experience in the food industry and dealing with countless customers, our boy has encountered people like this before, and he finds it tiresome to handle. Without hesitation, our boy tells the student not to bother him, or else he'll take him down. Angered, the student attempts to strike Kang. Observing the attack, Kong notices how slow the student is and thinks that he could easily handle him. However, before Kong can act, Batten appears and punches the student down. Students start gathering around, curious about the commotion. Meanwhile, Kong thinks to himself, I've heard of strength mages, but a strength healer? That's new. Batten then asks Kong if he came looking for him and suggests they continue the conversation outside. The two leave together to talk. Kong shares his plan with Batten, who agrees that our boy needs to form a party as soon as possible. Batten offers to help Kong recruit party members and proposes a deal. The dungeon rewards will be split among the team, while Kong can keep the materials from the magical beasts. Batten then asks, did I get that right? Our boy responds that if Kong were to gather a party on his own, no one except Chloe would join. However, if Batten helps with the dragon class, it might be easier, or so Kong thought. Batten informs Kong that a party must have at least 4 members to obtain dungeon clearance permits. He adds that if it weren't for academy rules, someone like Kong could easily clear 5 or 6 dungeons alone. Our boy quickly counters, saying, I can't even clear 1 dungeon alone. Hearing this, Batten accuses Kong of lying, reminding him that Kong single-handedly defeated a mermaid. Batten remarks that being overly humble is annoying. Hearing this, Kong thinks to himself that Batten genuinely believes our boy is simply being modest. Batten then comments, it looks like you're doing better now. Our boy replies, thanks to the good treatment, and I rested for a few days. I'm feeling much better now. Batten finally agrees, saying, all right, fine. I'll take your offer. There's no reason to refuse, and I have a feeling that working with you will be a new experience. Kong thanks Batten, who then inquires, do you have any dungeons in mind? Kong replies, the C-rank Buffalo Dungeon. Batten responds, are you talking about the dungeon in Cheelwyn? Our boy nods and says, yes. Batten remarks, a Buffalo Dungeon, that's a classic. So, it's me, you, and Chloe. That makes 3 members. Do you have any preferences for the 4th member? Kong replies, I'd prefer it not to be Rachel or Leon. Hearing this, Batten laughs and says, don't worry. Neither of them will be able to come anyway. Rachel has been in seclusion since she was hospitalized after training in the academy grounds, and Leon is preparing for upper-grade dungeon raids with the 2nd and 3rd year students. Kong thinks to himself, that's good. Batten then says, there is one person who comes to mind. By now, she's probably sleeping there. Surprised, Kong asks, sleeping at this hour? Batten shrugs and replies, that's just how she is. With that, Batten gestures for Kong and says, let's go to the cafeteria. As Batten mentions he needs to buy something, the scene shifts to later that night. Both Batten and Kong arrive at a house. As they enter, our boy looks around, thinking to himself that he didn't know the academy had such a place. Even during Kang's time playing Miracle Blessing M, our boy had never come here. In Kang's past life, our boy was a Japanese cuisine chef, though he never actually visited Japan. Kong always wanted to go but never had the chance. Looking around now, he feels a sense of vicarious satisfaction. Then, Kong notices archery arrows scattered around the place. Before he can process this, Batten finds the person he was searching for, fast asleep inside the house. Batten approaches the girl and tries to wake her up, but she doesn't budge. Batten then tells the girl, I brought your favorite from the cafeteria. Hearing this, the girl instantly wakes up and eagerly asks, where is it? Batten points to Kong and says, he has it. Without wasting a moment, the girl rushes toward our boy with incredible speed, grabs the bag from Kong, and they both fall to the ground. It turns out the bag contains chocolate. The blue-haired girl, now lying on top of our boy, enjoys the chocolate blissfully, leaving Kong shocked and unsure of what just happened. Smiling, the girl then looks at Kong and asks, do you have any more chocolate?